The Chicago Bulls just can't catch a break, and that includes with injuries. Now we have injury updates to Patrick Williams and Lonzo Ball, and both are expected to miss at least another week. We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And I know it's almost pregame show time, but had to bring this update, and I wanted to separate it from the pregame show. So Billy Donovan came out and said that Lonzo Ball would need at least all of next week before he starts ramping up. So this is another kind of push off when it comes to Lonzo Ball, that he will be missing at least another week of action for the Chicago Bulls. So do not expect to see Lonzo Ball all of next week. And yeah, it is what it is when it comes down to it. Lonzo Ball, I know a lot of people are going to continue to say and ask, like, is this covering up a knee injury or something like that? And, the Bulls would be stupid to be trying to cover up a knee injury by reporting it as something else. The NBA has really been cracking down on the way that teams report or misreport injuries or misrepresent injuries. So if the Bulls were to be found out to be misrepresenting Lonzo Ball's injury, it could come down to a huge $100,000 fine, much like they did with the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll see what happens with that one. But Lonzo Ball, so he will need all of next week. So all of next week for Lonzo Ball before he begins to ramp up. And so that it's unfortunate because Zoe has looked good when he actually has been able to be out on the court. But these are the two players, and it's funny that it's injury reports for these two guys, both guys who just have not had a good injury history at all. So when you look at it, that means that Lonzo Ball is going to be missing at least 5 more games when it comes down. He needs all of next week. That is 6 games, actually. So we're looking at before December 2nd is probably the earliest that Lonzo Ball can probably return from the Chicago Bulls via this latest update. Now, this is before ramp up. So that doesn't even necessarily mean that he's going to be able to return then. That's just when he's going to be able to start ramping up. It could still be another stretch of time before he's cleared, even if that ends up being the case. So, that's what it comes down to. Do not expect to see Lonzo Ball anytime soon in the Chicago Bulls uniform again. And it's really unfortunate, man. Like, Lonzo has played pretty solidly during the time he's been out there on the court. Has been perfect? No. But the fact that Lonzo has shown no hesitation in the time that he's out there, he's playing like Lonzo, right? Which is something that I have my doubt for, is that even if he did, when he did return, would he actually play like Lonzo? Would he be, try to be as impactful as he was defensively? Would he move like he has? All those things have been there. And really, when it comes down to it as well, I didn't think about this until this new report came out. We really have only gotten 3 games of Lonzo Ball, right? 3. Lonzo's played 3 games this season for the Bulls. 3. That's it. 3 games. And so when you look at this team and the fact that we're 15 games in, we've had a lot less of Lonzo than we had of Lonzo. And so, anytime Lonzo Ball at this point is an additive. When he's able to play, he's able to play. Fine, we'll appreciate it. He'll be able to get out on the court, do some things. But that's it when it comes down to it. Now, Patrick Williams is a little bit different. So Patrick Williams says this. He got some inflammation in that. It's from Billy Donovan as well. He's got some inflammation in that area. He needs to get with the doctor and get some consultation. He will be out this game and the back-to-back. So Patrick Williams is out for at least the rest of this week. So he may at earliest return next week, but keep in mind that the wording here is important. They're saying that that's when he'll be able to, the inflammation will go down. There's a chance that he could be out even longer than that. And with Patrick Williams, with that being his surgically repaired foot on top of that, it could be an extended period of time that we're without without Patrick Williams as well. So, this is an opportunity. And this isn't to slight Patrick Williams or anything like that. This is an opportunity for Julian Phillips. This is an opportunity potentially for Modest Bucilis. This is an opportunity potentially for Dalen Terry. This is potentially an opportunity for Torrey Craig, right? So this is an opportunity for those guys to get a few more minutes. Now, is it going to hurt the Bulls defense? Possibly, yeah. But that's just the nature of the beast when it comes down to it, man. The place that the Bulls are in right now with injuries, here's what I'll say. This is light compared to how we've dealt with injuries the last couple of years. is what I'll say. And maybe that's just me trying to look at the glass half full more than half empty. But when you look at the Bulls' injury history over like the last 2-3 seasons, this is really light work, right? So, we have more depth than we've had as far as that. Jalen Smith can pick up some more minutes. Maybe it gets a call up from Adama Sanogo so Jalen Smith can play more minutes at the 4. There's a lot of flexibility that Billy Donovan could do. Jalen doesn't play a lot of minutes at the 4, mainly because he's our only backup big. But if Adama Sanogo, who's killing it down in the G League, Billy Donovan has said that he wants to see Adama Sanogo get more NBA minutes. Maybe you can do that and play Jalen Smith more at the 4 over these next 3 or 4 games as well. So a lot of opportunity there, and we'll see what happens when it comes down to it. But overall, man, injuries to Lonzo Ball, he's going to be out at least to the end of next week. And we're only today's Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday, I think. So we're halfway through the week, and so we're gonna have another week and a half at the least without Lonzo, and it could be more than that, and at least another week without Patrick Williams as well. So that's what it comes down to. Sanogo's out. What happened to Sanogo? Is Sanogo out? I got to get the G League episode out too, so that's a little bit why I'm behind on that one. Yeah, he won't play Wednesday. Yep, because of a knee thing. So Adama Sanogo's out. So there you go on that one. I missed that too. So that came down about 2 hours ago. So Sanogo's out. What's good, little bro? You're doing a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing Flight 8. I mean, yeah, he's fun. We'll talk about it. We'll be doing the pregame show here in a second. The pregame show is actually supposed to be starting now, but I want to get through these comments. It's definitely hurting the defense, but interesting to see how they compensate for our best defender being out. Now we're about to see how much can Phillips match the defense. Well, the thing is, you don't necessarily have to match it. That's one thing. You don't have to match it, right? You just have to be different about it. And so if Julian Phillips can be a little bit more consistent shooting wise, maybe if he can do a little bit more rim protection because he is a better shot blocker than Patrick Williams, but the on-ball defense aspect of it, Julian Phillips can't replace that right now. I mean, at least I've not seen that, but maybe something goes a little different for him. Io's trash. That's all I have. Come on, bro. He's not trash. Sanogo, Lonzo, and P. Will, at least right now, it's not an IR situation. Yeah, I mean, we don't have IR in an NBA, Rob. So they can't place him on IR. But when it comes down to it, man, the Bulls are just gonna have to figure out a way. They're gonna have to figure it out a way. Antoine, Lonzo needed to drink more milk when he was young. His bones are like plastic. Get some milk. Dysfunctional says, well, P. Will made it 14 games further than I thought he would before getting injured. That's crazy. P. Will, it's always like he plays all 82, he plays 25. Like, it's just so up and down with Patrick Williams, man. Advocate Health ain't shit. Remind me to never go there. Them or whoever else work with these damn Bulls players. But keep in mind, this is a new medical staff. But the medical staff isn't there to do things. Like, a medical staff can't stop Patrick Williams from re-aggravating the surgery that they didn't do. Lonzo Ball hurt his wrist on a play where he fell down at. There's nothing that they can really stop in a case like that, right? And keep in mind, the initial prognosis was 2 to 10 weeks that he could be out, or 2 to 6 weeks that he could be out. And so they just reported it initially as 10 days. But actually, he's kind of still in line with what the initial thought process was. The Bulls just weren't very transparent on the fact that it could be up to 6 weeks, which played a part in that as well. Only try Craig is down 20 to 30. But listen, I think Craig brings something as far as a veteran stabilizing factor. So I actually would not be surprised if Billy Donovan does go to Torrey Craig a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised at it. Now, I hope that it doesn't come, like, if Modest isn't playing well, cool, go to Torrey Craig. If Julian isn't playing well, cool, go to Torrey Craig, right? But I hope that we see the young guys get the first opportunity to show some things. That's just my hope for it first. With Patrick Williams out for a while, no excuses for Billy Donovan not to give Modest more minutes. Oh, my brother Melvin. Don't forget, Billy Donovan loves using his veterans. And as long as Torrey Craig's on the roster, Billy Donovan can always find a reason. He can always find a reason. I'm not saying I agree with the reasons that he comes up with, but he can always find a reason, brother. Okay, Io ain't trash, but he ain't good. He's got cooked regularly. And when he came in, we lose the lead almost every time. That's not true. Now, I will say this. Io DeSumo has not nearly been the defender that he's been earlier in he's on pace to have his worst defensive season right now, 14 games in. So you're not wrong there. But he haven't always given up the lead. Matter of fact, when we came back from 20 down, Iowa was a big part of that. He was part of the group that helped us overcome that. I think in both times we were down, we made those 20-point comebacks. But overall, like, yeah, Iowa has not been the Iowa DeSumo that we've come to expect. And I don't think anybody really could make an argument for that. But he's not trash, right? Hopefully he's coming out of a slow start to the season. Let's hope that that's the case, right? But all right, y'all, you can see my face in just another 10 seconds. I'm going to end this. We're going to start the pregame show. So make sure you guys go over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you guys.